We continue our coverage of the deadly shooting overnight in Norfolk. Investigators say the gunman in this case is dead, but detectives are still going through evidence collected from 3 separate crime scenes. One officer is recovering from a bullet wound. The family of another is still processing the loss of a husband, father, and son. And then there are the loved ones of a teenager, an innocent bystander shot on his way home from a high school graduation. Investigative reporter Chris Horne walks us through the violent chain of events.
A night of gunfire and death began here in the 8400 block of Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk. Police say 29-year-old James Andrew Brown fired from his SUV while driving southbound about 10:45. One of Brown's bullets struck this minivan, killing Mark Rodriguez, who was 17.
Mr. Brown was randomly shooting out of his vehicle, and Mr. Rodriguez was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Neighbor Sharon Matthews heard the shots.
5 times, real fast, pow, 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 pow. I know CPR, and I was going to go over there to see if I could help any, but they said, he's gone. Don't even bother.
Police were on the lookout for Brown's red Jeep Grand Cherokee. Officer Brian Jones, a 35-year-old father of 3 and 5-year veteran, found it here on Wellington, about a block from Tidewater. Officer Curtis Allison assisted. He was off duty at the time. Police say when the officers tried to investigate, Brown began firing a high-powered rifle from the doorway of the home on Wellington. Too many shots for neighbor Joanne Billingsley to keep track.
I couldn't even count. It was terrible. I was scared to death.
Both officers were hit. Jones was mortally wounded.
My neighbor across the street, she took him out some towels, because he was bleeding so bad. And they had one laying down beside his car. And the one beside his car, I think, was really bad because I could hear his buddy hollering, "Somebody get some help, somebody get some help."
Jones died at Centera Norfolk General early this morning. Allison was treated and released. The gunfire on Wellington blew out the rear windows of a police cruiser and a Volkswagen van parked nearby. Investigators were looking at damage to other cars and a nearby fence. Neighbors tell me they knew little about Brown and that he lived in the house with his mother. Police say after Brown had shot Jones and Allison, he got back in the Jeep, fled northbound on Galveston, and as he crossed Little Creek Road, he struck this Toyota Solara and got out.
Brown left his vehicle with the gun in his hand and refused to comply with the officer. Brown fought with the officer and attempted to disarm the officer. The officer fired his weapon during the struggle. Brown was pronounced dead at the scene.
Erin Ortiz lives just down the street in this neighborhood of military families. She was worried about her 2 young sons.
When I heard the accident, I went right to them to make sure they were still sleeping, and it makes me feel a little unsettled being so close to it.
In Norfolk, Chris Horne, 10 on your side.